Okay, now probably comes the most interesting part to you, which is furnishing the cupping of the spoon blank. I'm using a beating template with indentions made of hardwood. I have shown how to make these beating templates in an older video of mine called making homemade spoon blanks. I will also give you the link in the video description how to make these beating templates. Okay, one more thing. I'm living in a rented flat. Not to disturb the neighbors too much, I've put some rubber and felt pads underneath my steel block to dampen the noise of the hammer beats. And because of the little mess which happened, I've got two center indentions here. I do not want to have trouble when extending the holes, so I would take care of beating the cupping from this side, so the drill bit later would find better grip from the undamaged side. The purpose of pre-drilling the holes with just 1.5 millimeters and extend them later is just, if I would have drilled them to appropriate size right now, the ridges may deform, the thin ridges here and there may deform when beating the spoon to shape. It's not just very handy this way. And the reason why I'm drilling 1.5 millimeters is I want to remain as small as possible with the holes, the pre-drilled holes. Might have done it 1 millimeter as well, but you have seen it that even the 1.5 mil drill bit snapped, and 2 mil might have been already too large, so I stay with 1.5 mil for pre-drilling. So now I'm gonna start out with the coarse cupping. So I lay this thing with the center on the center of the indention, and I start hitting it with my ball peen hammer. I'll start from the center, hit my finger already, just take care. Do never combine hammering spoons and drinking beer. Your fingers would thank you for it. Okay, now I've got the initial cupping. What I would do now, you see the indentation is on the side of the beating template. So I would start to hit this thing from center to the outside, constantly turning it around. And this is what makes shaping these spoons so easy, because they are round. If you do an ordinary spoon, it's not as easy. You see, I'm going from the center to the outside, always turning it and hitting at the same time. And you see, the copper is very, very soft. It cups very easily. If you would use stainless steel, you'd have to do stronger beats with more force and also more often to get this thing to shape. So the basic shape has been done. Well, you see here, this thing is straight, this portion is straight, and I want it to be cupped. It's because this indentation is not as big, so I'll use the other one and hit it a few times in the center. So let's see. Yeah, don't know if you can see it by the camera. Now it's a nice equal cupping. Alright, so this was the coarse shaping. I do not need the beating template anymore. Now I want to beat it flat that all the circumference would lay flush against the steel plate. I'm using a plastic hammer for it. You do not have to hit it very hard. As I said before, copper is soft. If you use stainless steel, you need probably a bigger, heavier plastic hammer. And I'm eyeballing down. Okay, it's all equal. So this is the basic course shape now. It's still rough, and I want all these dents to vanish. Possibly they will not vanish at all, but to make it more smooth, I will start to beat it against the steel plate now. So same procedure. Hold it over the rim of the steel plate. And start in the center, moving to the outside. This is just to smoothen down the indents. As said before, with stainless steel it takes considerably longer. You need stronger, more force with the hammer, and many more beats as well. So I'm going right down to the rim. Try not to hit the rim, because you would have indents there that you would have to smooth out later again. Do not want to hit the rim. Okay. Now I'm checking against the light. Yeah, it's all equal. Looking good. But now I want to beat it flush again. So that all the circumference would lay flush against the steel plate. Don't hit this thing hard. The soft copper, you will produce indents here. Down it went. Always check back whether you have produced any indents. It's still looking okay. Now the most important thing is the dome height. From here to the highest point must be 6 millimeters or little less, not more than that. Because if the cupping of this spoon is too deep, too pronounced, it will not rock from one side to side, but it will turn over and swim on its back. This is because it's similar to the profile of an airplane. As the water flows down this spoon, here it takes, what was that? It creates more pressure on this side than on the top side. And this is why the spoon has the tendency to wobble. But when it's too deep, the pressure underneath gets too high, so the spoon will remain like this and flutter up and down. But you want your spoon to rock from side to side. This is why the cupping should not be too deep. And I've determined 6 millimeters is okay. 7 might be too much. And in this case, if it's a little shallower, the cupping, or less than 6 millimeters, it's okay. So what I'm doing is I will measure this thing like this. You see it? Uh-oh. I hope the camera captures it. So it is now 8 millimeters. So I have to flatten it, which I will do very careful. I'll start on the outer rim I hope you can see where I'm hitting this thing. It's not easy in front of the camera. So you hit the outside in order to decrease the cupping again. And same time, you do not want to have any blemishes there. So let's check. Yeah, it looks quite well. Now I'm trying a bit more towards the dome, the highest point. This is very important for the function of the spoon. Do not make it deeper than 6 millimeters. So I will check now against the light, against the brighter surface, whether the cupping is equal. I will measure it with my geometric triangle. Oh, I try it with my left. Okay, so you could see. Yeah, it's now 7 mil, still a bit too much. But this is very important with any spoon, I would say. If the cupping gets too deep, the spoon will turn on its reverse side and flutter up and down. It will not wiggle left and right anymore, simply because a deep cupping would create too much pressure on the reverse side of the spoon. Okay, this was too much of a good thing now. But yeah, it's flat now, but the curve is gone, so I want the curve back. So I'm hitting this place which I beat flat in order to get it curved again. Okay. I'll stop it now. Okay, I'm almost there, but this side is a bit straight, so I want to make it curved again. You would cant the spoon on the steel surface and gently hit it slightly above the place where it touches the steel plate. So I'm turning this thing around and eyeball over the surface. Okay, the dome is a bit high, so I just beat it a little in center. Yeah, looks fairly well now. So let us measure this thing. Still a little bit too high. Always remember, copper is soft. Don't hit it too hard. Yeah, 6 millimeters, want it a little bit less. Now I'm only hitting the dome, the center, because the sides are okay. Yeah. So here I have a finished spoon. I can use this one to check back. Yeah, I can see the one that I'm working on is still a little bit too high. Remember, don't hit it hard. Always gently. You do not want to have any indentions into it. I'm comparing it to the one I've made before. Just a little more. Yeah, now it has an indent again here. Hammer this thing out again. I'm a kind of a perfectionist in that way. I'm sure the spoon will still perform with the indent. Okay, let's measure. Yeah, 6 millimeters. This is fine. A little more. I must admit I'm a bit nervous in front of the camera. Otherwise I'd be faster. And as I said before, I'm a perfectionist. Okay, I'm done. That's it. Remember, you want the distance from here to the highest point to be 6 millimeters or 5.5 millimeters. If you get too deep, your spoon will not swim well. Okay, and actually I do not know why there's this center hole. The original lure's having it. Probably it's to release some of the pressure or to create some vortices in the water that should have an appeal to fish. I do not know. The original lure's having this center hole, and so I do it as well. By the way, this center hole is 4.5 millimeters and the attachment holes are 3 millimeters. Okay. Okay, now drilling the holes is in order. I've already tried to drill the 4.5 mil center hole with the other motor of my machine, which is too weak. Now I've installed a more powerful drill. So this one made it now. So these are my problems to be under-tooled, so to speak. I could never work down stainless steel. So now the other holes looks like I need another drill bit. This one is blunt. I'll be now drilling the small 3 millimeter hole. Okay. Now we want to break the edges of the hole. Take a bigger drill bit. Okay, make this, set it a bit higher. Just breaking the edges. Okay, that was it. Okay, basically our spoon is done now. The spoon blank, not the spoon. Still got some built up material here, which I would take away with this tool. You know, copper is very soft. Basically this is a triangular file with a tip ground onto it. I do not know the English term for this tool. In German, if I would translate it from German, we call it a three-edged scraper. That's what we call it. So I'm just using this to break the edges. If using this tool, take care not to slide off, because it makes some real nasty nicks in your finger with lots of blood spill. Been there, done that. Well, I told you I like to be perfect. I do not want no sharp edges on my spoon, because if Murphy is at the water's edge with you, such sharp edges might snap your line if you got the fish of your lifetime on. So this is why I don't like them. No sharp edges to my metal lures. Okay. You know, you've seen it with my little display here that Murphy never sleeps. Okay, we are done. Okay, one more thing. I've made such spoons so far, sizes 30 millimeters diameter, 50 millimeters and 70 millimeters. The specs are a bit different. Let's start with the small one. Diameter 30 millimeters. The height of the dome from this edge here is 3 millimeters. Center hole 3.5 millimeters. The dome height on the 50 millimeters is 6 millimeters or 5.5 millimeters. Center hole 4.5 millimeters, and here the large 70 millimeter diameter version. The dome height is 8 millimeters and center bore 6.5 millimeters. As said before, you do not want the cupping to be too deep, otherwise your spoon will not cant from side to side but turn over and flutter this way, which I do not consider to be very attractive action. Okay, dome height 8 millimeters, dome height 6 millimeters, dome height on the small one 3 millimeters, minus 5 millimeters, 0.5 millimeters less maybe, that's your tolerance. Do not go higher than these specs, but you may go half a millimeter lower than that to achieve a fairly shallow dome of these lures. Okay. Hi people, as promised, here's my little add to my disc spoon tutorial, how to make these. Here's a big 70 millimeters disc spoon. Actually it's a twin spoon, two 1 millimeter spoons fixed together by the split rings. I intend to use this for silure. Don't know whether it would be possible to control this lure in the river current, but I shall see. And let's see if it's very heavy. See, I hope you could see the swimming action. Really cants from one side to the other. but this one doesn't make any noise as I had expected it would. But this is the way they swim. Only very gentle click, click, click. But this thing is heavy. See, if you accelerate them, they would break out to the side a bit. But it has a real wild action, these disc spoons. Okay, that's the heavy 70mm twin spoon. And now there's one 50mm dia of copper, like the one I've made for this tutorial video. You see, being lighter, this one swims more lively. Don't be deceived that they come to the surface here. You know, I fished them in the outdoors already, and they swim very deep. They are suited for a slow retrieve. If you speed them up, okay, in the top they rise, but they really act somehow wild in the water. Very slow retrieve, and you speed it up, they break out sideways somehow. Yeah. I'm pretty much sure I would catch pike on this one, because it's having a very attractive swimming action. Okay, now one more display of the smallest version. I also displayed this one in the outdoors before. Here the smallest 30mm dia. This one is very light, of 1mm sheet, so this one runs rather shallow. So, well, I guess it could catch perch or maybe even trout. And the 30mm is about the smallest you could shape in this way shown. If you want smaller spoons, you would have problems to hold them whilst shaping them with the ball peen hammer. Okay, that was my little bonus to my disc spoon how-to video. Hope it was not too boring for you. You know, I made it in 2 parts because it turned out very long. Probably I could have provided some input and inspiration to the fellow lure makers out there. Thanks a lot for your interest, people. Goodbye. Back again, one thing I forgot to mention, and I would not show how to polish these spoons in this video. Please check out my channel. There are 2 videos showing the polishing of spoons and also how to make the wooden beating template. I will provide the links to this video in the video description of this particular video. So check them out if you're interested in spoon making. Not many people do this because it takes some passion and elbow grease. You know, the beating, shaping these spoons, working with metal, and you know, even I'm under geared with my tooling. Well, I'm lucky that I have access to provide machinery at work, so for stainless steel spoons. I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks out there that have better tool gear than I have, so they could give it a go. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.